It's day 3 of FESPA, and I'm here on the Elitron stand with Giambattista. Hello, Giambattista. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Would you mind sort of maybe introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the history of Elitron?
Yeah, for me, a few times for me, the most part of time from Elitron. I stay in the company since 2006, so this is my 20 years in Elitron, a long run. So Elitron started in the 80s as a software house, exactly in the 1984, and developed software for around 10 years, and started on producing machines around in 93, 94, yeah, correct. Developing cutting system for fashion, mainly for leather sector, footwear, leather goods, and so on. But in the new century, Mr. Gallucci, the owner and founder of the company, decided to enlarge our direction, putting the focus on the general industry sector before, and then on the visual communication and packaging sector, mainly on the corrugated world. So that's what actually are doing with 4 different division, vertical, on any single sector and market. This is the story.
Okay, so what have been the sort of the big technical milestones for the company?
Yeah, this is a very hard period. So you have to take decision. You would reduce your risk in terms of decision. We decided to push a lot in the visual communication sector and both in the corrugated world. That's the reason why this year we decided to exhibit this kind of solution, Kombo THC 3x2 with feeding and stacking solution, because it is good both for the visual communication sector, because with the milling and the other tools you can manage rigid materials like plexi, like forex and so on, but you also can manage corrugated material. We are very close to the corrugated sector of the FESPA show, so that's the reason why we have this kind of solution.
That's a new exhibition for FESPA. Do you think it's a good thing here?
Yeah, I think that's the future for the FESPA, because this sector, the packaging sector, and in particularly the sector of corrugated is expanding.
Yeah.
The perspective, according to our own analysis, but on the market, are that market is enlarging more and more. So we are pushing a lot and investing on that direction. You know, Elitron is not a big company, probably a great company, not a big company. And so we have to decide where invest. Our investment go in the innovation, because we are smaller than our competitors, and we need absolutely to stay one step beyond, always, every day. Every day we wake up and we have to start one step beyond.
So what is the specific technology that works well with the corrugated market?
Yeah, we have the perfect integration in the machine of the feeding and stacking, because Elitron produces 100% all the devices. We do not apply technology from other supplier to the Elitron cutting system. But we also create solution in terms of automation for other brand in the market, in the digital printing sector, in the wide format mainly, but also for the end user, because we can integrate. This year we reached a higher level in terms of technology, because we changed internally all the electronic parts. Now we can say that all the electronic components of the Elitron machine are made in Elitron. What happened with this? You probably can't find what happened, but the result is in terms of productivity and in terms of reliability. When you decide to invest in a fully automatic system, it is important the productivity. It is important how is fast, how is good the acceleration of the system. But finally, it is important that the machine must be reliable. Because if you work in 1 shift, 2 shift, or 24/7, you need reliability. That's the Elitron investment for today and probably for the future. But I can't say
Absolutely.
everything.
And because you make everything yourself, you can rely. You're responsible for it. You're not relying on anyone else.
The company decided to push me, involve me in managing the sales department, part of the marketing, and vertically in the packaging sector and in visual communication. So that's my water.
Yeah.
So I have to swim in this water.
I'm curious to know, why is the corrugated market growing as it is? What is it about that? What is it about that market that is growing? Why is it sort of hitting?
Sign and display, the POP, POS solution, and then the packaging, basically the printed materials. All the company that decided to invest in technology for managing the so-called small quantity. What does it mean? I don't know, because it depends on the different companies. It could be 50 displays, 500 displays, I don't know, it depends.
Yeah.
But in any case, we are able to manage the single sheet or the medium quantity, in the average between the big, more than 1,000 pieces, and the very small. So flexibility means the opportunity and the ability to integrate your solution in an existing workflow in terms of software, but also in terms of process, in terms of devices, mechanical, technological devices. So, and I think that Elitron is able to do this because we are both a software house and a company that produces mechanical and electronic machines.
I mean, they're like robots. So we're leaning against this machine. This is your automatic feeder stacking machine.
Yeah.
So this is unattended, hundreds of units.
In terms of if we speak about what is the corrugated sector, probably this is the low level of automatic technology, because it's a standard machine with two heads, independent heads, but with a feeder and a stacker that you can remove, and the machine is a standard machine that can be managed by an operator. Otherwise, if you want to go higher and increase productivity, there is Kombo THC.
Yeah.
We reached in the 2026 130 installation all over the world. Now we are at the 4th generation of Kombo THC, and we are very, very proud to make installation with customer that both purchased an Elitron machine in the past and now decided to invest again in the new generation of Kombo THC. This means that probably we are making a good job.
I mean, I guess these are machines that people keep for a long time because they're reliable, because they do a good job.
You know, basically is a standard machine, is a machine that is available on the market since a long time.
Yeah.
The double head is a story of Elitron, because we started in the leather sector making machine with two heads. So it's only the step by step we are going to increase the performance, the fluxus of the machine between software, electronic, and mechanical things.
You were saying earlier that the big developments in your industry is what's happening inside the machine.
Yeah, it's inside because we totally changed the electronic in the machine. In the past, we used some commercial components of good quality, but when you have to speak between different languages, there is always something that you lose in the passage. Probably if now I'm talking in Italian, I can explain better, but I am talking in English. It's not my language. So probably my information is not 100% correct, and so we can misunderstand something. But I think that we are able to speak the same language easier and faster. That's what happened in the machine. We have the same language. Software is by Elitron, electronic is by Elitron, mechanical is by Elitron. So the final effect is that the language is liquid, is faster, and the final effect means productivity and reliability.
So we talked about the dual head, dual cutting head. So
Yeah.
what does that bring to the machine? What's the benefit of that for people?
Two heads means both flexibility and increased productivity. Why? Because we are able to manage two heads like two machines in one, because you can set the machine for working on a rigid material, making some routing on the left side, while the machine is cutting and creases cardboard on the right side. Or you can use the machine working with two heads on the same job on the left side. You can split the machine in two working area. The machine works with two heads in the left one, while the operator is collecting cut pieces or positioning material for the next session. When the machine finished on the left, move on the right, the operator go on the left side, collecting. And so, like a sort of a pendulum solution, you can increase the productivity if you use the operator on. But you also can cut in very big sheets of material. Mm-hmm. This is a 3 by 2 meters wide. So you can use 3 by 2 sheets of material, and at the same time, you can manage the job in a faster way.
And it's all managed by the software.
Everything.
Yeah.
You have simply to set before what's the material, what is the job to do, so the file, and assign the tools on the different colors of the cutting lines, and the machine automatically proceeds. That's what happens if you use a manual work or if you use a feeder and a stacker system. We have different solutions for feeding. This is the basic one because there is no space enough in the face, so we decided to put the smaller one. Otherwise, we can put a trolley with an elevator and manage up to half a meter of material in stack, both in the feeding and the stacking area. Okay, the stacker is able to create, if we start from one single stack, we can cut multiple multiple sheets of material. But when you stack in the stacking area, you can create again only one stack, not more than one.
So this, I mean, you can see the workflow from one end of here to the other, but I can also see you've got a smaller machine over there. So
yeah.
You're sort of sharing the love in the market,
yeah,
so to speak.
We are involved in two different categories of machine. The Kombo series, Kombo SD, THC, Kombo TAV are the premium line in Elitron. The Spark is for us is the entry-level solution. It's a good solution for all the big, the small factory that are approaching the digital sector. So it's good for with the right price to approach the market. You can cut, freeze using a V-cut, case cut, or a circular blade for textile. The Spark line is available both in a fixed table, static table, or conveyorized. So you can select what is your main job. Yeah, the conveyor machine is more flexible because you can use every kind of material in roll or in sheet. It's cheaper. It's a good solution. It is a solution also for the big company that want to invest in a small table for the office, for the prototyping, sampling. It's good. So it is not a machine for big production, but it's the entry level.
Yeah, but it's important for you to have a range of offerings for the customers you work with to take them on a journey.
Also because, as you perfectly know, we have to front our invasion from Far East. It is very difficult because it's like if you want to stop a river using your hand.
You're doing a grand job. Look, thank you so much for telling us about Elitron. It's really interesting here. And
thank you, Jeff.
I hope the rest of the show goes well for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.